Bob the Lobster is ready for some water fun with today's game, Whitewater, for your Intellivision system. And according to the box art, it apparently is about Charlton Heston and Dan Severn checking out the new Indiana Jones rafting ride at Universal Studios. Looks like a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and take new Whitewater, pop it in my Intellivision, and see how it holds up today. Let's go to the game. Whitewater was published by Imagic and carries a copyright year of 1983. It was one of the few Imagic titles that was exclusive to the Intellivision. It was programmed by Douglas Fultz. This may have been the only mass-marketed video game he ever made, since I could find no other games attached to his name. According to the manual, an ancient legend says that the Big Kahuna, chief of the river tribe, will offer valuable gifts to any visitor who plays his games by his rules. But to get to his land, you must travel the rapids of the raging rivers, something no man has returned from when attempting. So, just like the big dummy you are about to attempt to travel the dangerous rapids in order to chase an old fairy tale. Whitewater can be played by 1 or 2 players alternating. The overlay in the game is used to help you select one of the 7 game variations and to start and reset your game. It also shows you to use the disc to move your man or raft and the bottom left and right side buttons to exit from that side of the boat. When the game begins, no matter what variation you are playing, you start in the forest and must move your man to the right, at which point you jump in the boat. When in the boat, you press up to move faster in the direction you are facing and down to slow down. Pressing right or left will turn the boat in a clockwise or counterclockwise direction. When in the arc-shaped rapids, you will move faster, and when on the speckled shoal, you will slow down. You can also beach your boat on the beaches that appear on the left side of the screen. Hitting the river banks or floating black barrels will cause you to bounce around, and if you get caught in the whirlpool, it will spin you around a few times and then throw you. There are also rocks. Hitting them in some variations will cause you to toss a man overboard, who will be lost for good if he hits a rock, barrel, whirlpool, or goes off the screen. But he can get stuck on a beach or a shoal. If you touch him with your boat, whether in the water or on the beach, you can rescue him. If your boat ever empties, you will no longer be in control of it and will have to hope that your boat and a man end up touching by chance. If not, your game is over. Variations 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all raft races, where you try to reach the flags at the end of the river in the quickest time possible. In variation 1 and 2, you will not lose a man if you hit a rock, but in variations 3 and 4, you will. In variations 1 and 3, the river will move slow, and in variation 2 and 4, it moves fast. The last 3 variations combine moving down the river and occasionally getting out of the raft on beaches to get gifts and treasures from the Big Kahuna himself. In these variations, you want to exit the raft whenever you reach a new beach, but make sure you exit safely, as landing in the water will cost you a man. Once you reach the forest on the left, you will see the Big Kahuna standing on a hill and a white native waiting for you. There will also be flags on the screen and a golden urn. At this time, you will play the Riches Ritual game, with you starting. You may take 1 or 2 flags, and then it's the native's turn, who also follows the 1 or 2 flag rule. Once the last flag is picked up, then it becomes a race to see who can get to the urn first. If you ever break a rule, the Big Kahuna will get mad at your rule-breaking ways and will throw tomahawks at you. If they touch you, you lose a man, and you retake control of the raft down a man, but without the treasure, and you must move to the next beach, as anytime you leave the forest, the treasures and the natives leave that area. You also lose your man if you ever leave the forest from the top, left, or bottom sides. It is possible, however, to avoid the tomahawks and return to the raft with any treasure you picked up. Once you leave the forest, you once again try to make it to the next beach and forest area. If you manage to collect 3 urns in a game, the next forest screen will have flags, multiple urns, and a treasure chest. You once again collect flags with the 1 or 2 rule. When it's time to take the urns, you once again follow the 1 or 2 rule. Once the last urn is picked up, then it's a race to the treasure. In game variations 5 and 6, your game ends when you get the treasure and return to your raft, with the game freezing and showing you how much time it took you to finish. The only difference between these 2 games is that 5 has the slow river and 6 has the fast river. Game variation 7 plays like 5 or 6 with some new changes. There are money bags added to the forest screen that can be picked up at any time without following the 1 or 2 rule. And in this variation, if you manage to get the treasure chest, the river speeds up and you can try to get 3 more urns and then try to get another treasure chest. And if you do that, the cycle continues. And unlike the other variations, which is timer based, this one is score based. In this variation, you get 10 points per flag, 50 points per money bag, 200 points per urn, and 1,000 points per treasure. In game variations 3 through 7, your game will end if you lose all 3 men, and there is no way to earn an extra guy. According to Volume 2 of the Imagic Num Thumb magazine, if you scored 10,000 points in Whitewater, you could send a picture of your score along with a proof of purchase to Imagic to get an Iron-On award decal. Although this was right before the great video game crash, and it's possible no decals were made or sent out for Whitewater. Graphically speaking, I thought that the game looked pretty good, although to me the shoal looked more like seaweed and the barrels looked more like floating tires. I also enjoyed the sounds and music in the game and thought that the sounds of the river were especially well suited. And overall I would consider this a family-friendly game, but the gameplay might be a little too hard to grasp for a really young child. At the time of my research on eBay, one loose copy sold for $39, although there were copies available for under $20, and complete copies were selling anywhere between $17 and $44 including shipping. So what did I think of Whitewater? Overall, I was very impressed and surprised how fun the game was to play. Controlling the boat in the river felt a little chaotic at times, which actually fits the game well. On land, my man controlled pretty well, but there were times when I thought I was going to collect a treasure but ended up running right by it. I wasn't a big fan of the river-only variations, but I really liked the whole strategy aspect of the Big Kahuna's game and later variations. On a whole, this game is one of those games that has a learning curve, but can be very enjoyable once you get it down. So where am I going to rank Whitewater? Well, this is only the second Intellivision game I've reviewed, with the first being Burger Time. And Burger Time is such a great game that it will be number 1 and Whitewater will be number 2. However, I would still encourage Intellivision fans to check this out if they can find an affordable copy. Whitewater is a fun, obscure Intellivision exclusive. So what do you think of Whitewater? Whether you agree or disagree with me, feel free to let me know in the comments below. And also feel free to click the like and subscribe buttons. If you'd like to support the show, you could do so at Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/NoSwearGamer for more information. And you can also follow me on both the Facebook or the Twitter. I'm also a member of the Retro Junkies Network. You can find more retro podcasts and videos at theretrodunkies.com. Thank you for giving me a little part of your day, and I look forward to seeing you next time in the next episode of the No Swear Gamer. Take care, and if you run into the Big Kahuna, be sure to follow his rules.